All Counter-Strike players and fans understand one simple thing. CS is a team game, and the only way to win is through strong teamwork. Stars like Donk and m don't see the HLTV #1 medal as their main goal. For them, major trophies and team success always come first. But it would be silly to pretend we don't love watching incredible superstars who play beautifully and amaze everyone with their skill. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because this is a new Top 10 episode on CYBERSHOKE. And today, we look through CSGO and CS2 stats and put together a list of the 10 best headshot players in the history of our game. CYBERSHOKE is the best place to practice and chill with friends. Level up your aim on DM and duels, improve your movement on KZ and B-Hop, and build better game sense on retake and execute. If you want to break from the grind, jump into custom matches with unique modifiers, or play our own custom modes, jail, and minigames. Join CYBERSHOKE. The most diverse CS2 servers are already waiting for you. Link is in the description. Jacob "Jabbi" Nygaard is one of the key representatives of the Danish scene. He started his career during the Astralis era and quickly made his way into Tier 2. At just 17 years old, he was scouted by Copenhagen Flames, and in his very first year, his headshot rate reached an impressive 61%. But Jabbi's career really started to take off a bit later. Around that time, Captain Twistzz returned to Copenhagen Flames for the third time, a leader known for bringing out the best in young prodigies. That's when Jacob began taking on tougher roles, while still keeping solid stats and gaining valuable experience alongside more experienced teammates. Jabbi's biggest moment with the team came at the PGL Major Stockholm 2021, where Twistz's squad delivered a sensational performance. The Danes were just one step away from the playoffs, and only NIP, led by Device, managed to stop them. By the summer of 2022, Jacob was already on the radar of top Danish teams. Reaching the playoffs at the following major only increased the attention around him, and Captain Twistzz kept praising the rising star. Jabbi is a young guy who can both hit headshots and communicate well. He reads the game and helps me with calls during rounds. Jacob is incredibly mature when it comes to CS, and that helps me a lot. I literally get goosebumps when I talk about how good he is. So it was only natural that in the middle of the year, Jacob moved up to Heroic, joining another well-known Danish captain, Kadian. Under Kasper's leadership, Jabbi won 2 Blast tournaments, earned an MVP medal, and made the HLTV Top 20. Now Jabbi plays for Astralis, maintains a consistently high headshot percentage, and performs well against top teams. Xantares' nickname has long become iconic. From the very start of his career, the Turkish player was putting up incredible stats and making highlight after highlight, while his signature Xantares peak turned him into a global star. He spent a huge amount of time on Faceit and Deathmatch, constantly developing his skill. During his time in Space Soldiers, it wasn't unusual for him to practice 8 to 10 hours a day, and that approach quickly paid off. Everyone talked about Ismail Can's skill. Xantares consistently kept his headshot percentage above 50%, caused problems even for Tier 1 opponents, and regularly received offers from top teams. For example, FaZe and Mouse were both interested in him. But for a long time, he believed in his teammates and stayed with Space Soldiers. By 2019, though, he was tired of Tier 2 tournaments and poor conditions in the organization, so he decided it was finally time for a change. The year 2020, which he spent with Big, became a breakthrough for the Turkish player. He helped lead the team to the #1 spot in HLTV rankings and finished first at 3 online tournaments. He put up insane stats and ended the year with a 52% headshot rate across 277 maps. But the following year, Xantares started missing home, so he returned to Turkey, where Eternal Fire built a lineup around him with Woxic and Calyx. Ismail Can dropped back to Tier 2, and real success only returned to him 2 years ago, when Xantares led his team to the quarterfinals of the first CS2 major, helping the Turkish squad secure a spot among the world's top 10. By the end of 2023, he made HLTV's top 20 for the first time in his 9-year career, and in 2025, he lifted his first big LAN trophy. Of course, the Turkish star continued to show unreal firepower, with his headshot percentage climbing close to 60. Now Zantares is already 30 years old, but he's not slowing down and still ranks among the world's best players by individual stats. As for Ismail Can himself, he even believes his aim is on par with Donk's. For viewers who haven't followed Counter-Strike for a long time, the nickname Config might not be familiar. The Danish player belongs to the older generation, and the peak of his career came around 2017. Christian always focused on individual performance, and he said this openly. When he joined Dignitas, he made it clear that his goal was to become the best aimer in the world and win a major with an MVP medal. During his prime, Config won 2 major events and took home 2 MVP medals. By the end of 2017, Christian ranked 14th in the HLTV Top 20, and his headshot percentage never dropped below 50. We didn't call Config an old-school player for nothing. He wasn't quiet and calm or just training hard and avoiding drama. On the contrary, he was a rebel and even got involved in a few scandals. Many veterans remember when Config got into an argument with the YouTuber Rise. But even that wasn't the biggest conflict he was involved in. A player who left Config's team in 2018 shared a number of negative details about him. According to that teammate, the Dane would be late to practice and hurt the team's atmosphere, and after one loss in particular, he said he was fed up with everything and wanted to go home. Still, all these scandals didn't change one fact. Config was an extremely talented aimer and really good at hitting headshots. In one match, Christian even set a CS record for kills in a single map, finishing with 47 frags in regulation, and his headshot percentage was 50. Later, Config moved to Complexity, where he won a Blast tournament, and then joined Astralis. A year later, he got into a fight with a bar employee in Malta, which led the organization to terminate his contract. Astralis management didn't tolerate this behavior and cut ties with Christian. His great stats and huge in-game impact just wasn't enough to overlook everything else. In October 2025, Config retired, and analyst Yanko summed up his career perfectly. Config's style was fun to watch, but he was extremely inconsistent. His story is a lesson. It's a story of wasted talent, and a reminder to all aspiring pros that skill alone is not enough. Ayush Mzinho Batbold is the youngest player on our list. The 18-year-old Mongolian has already been playing professionally for 5 years. Even at 14, Ayush was already showing great aim. He became known as one of the biggest talents in his country, which quickly led to an invite to the Mongols. He joined the team as a support, so at first his stats didn't stand out much. But by the end of 2023, his headshot rate had reached 64%, and he was only 16 at the time, playing against strong opponents. So it was only natural that analysts began to highlight Mzinho. He was quickly called the Mongolian Donk, and Donk himself once named him one of the best young prodigies on the scene. 2 months later, Mzinho and Donk faced each other in Cologne, where Ayush dominated Spirit, finishing with a rating of 1.38. Thanks to some hard work, by the start of 2025, the Mongols and Mzinho had reached a solid Tier 1 level. Ayush finished the year with an amazing 66% headshot rate. That's 1,863 accurate shots to the head. In half a year, Mzinho will turn 19, but he's already played in a major final, won a big Tier 1 event, and secured his status as one of the best aimers on the pro scene. YEKINDAR is the kind of player who focused on skill from the very start of his career. In one interview, he said, "Utility and team tactics are secondary. What really matters is how strong you are and how good your aim is." Early on, Merrick proved himself as an aggressive rifler with extremely powerful aim. During his 2 years with his first serious team, Twistzz, his headshot rate stayed around 58%. By 2020, it was clear that YEKINDAR had outgrown Twistzz, and the team's owner, Zeus, told Merrick that he wouldn't mind letting him join a Tier 1 team. YEKINDAR ended up joining Virtus Pro, where he quickly fit into James' system. Merrick became the star of the team and was given all the comfortable roles, even though he was essentially a rookie stepping up. Over his 2 years in VP, Merrick's headshot rate grew to 62%, and by the end of 2021, he had placed in HLTV's top 10 players. Later, YEKINDAR left Virtus Pro, and what happened next almost ruined his career. The managers of Liquid, the team Merrick joined afterwards, made a lot of questionable decisions. On top of that, Merrick took the role of IGL, which hurt his stats. His previous rating of 1.14 became just a memory, and 60% headshots felt like something from the distant past. But Merrick wouldn't be on this list if his story ended in failure. In the spring of last year, the Brazilians from Furia came for his contract. They wanted to sign a Russian-speaking player to help Molodoi adapt to the team. This transfer basically revived YEKINDAR's career. With Furia, Merrick won 4 tournaments, posted the best headshot percentage of his career, and rightfully placed in the HLTV Top 20 at the end of the year. Now YEKINDAR is just 26 years old. His experience as a Liquid IGL now helps him in his career, and his insane individual skill is fully back. His team is now competing with Vitality for the top spot in the VRS rankings. Twistzz is one of the biggest stars in North American Counter-Strike. Russell has always stood out for his amazing aim, and that quickly became his main strength. In his first full year on HLTV, his headshot percentage almost hit 60%. Liquid didn't hesitate to pick him up. They already had a strong roster with Nitro and Elige, but Twistzz still had the best stats on the team. In 2018, Russell got nearly 3,000 headshots, and at one tournament he played so well that HLTV gave him the MVP medal despite his team losing the final. By the end of that year, he was ranked number 12 in the world. In 2019, Liquid did the impossible. During the Astralis era, Twistz's team won 4 tournaments in a row and took home $1 million for the Intel Grand Slam. About 2/3 of Russell's kills were headshots, and HLTV ranked him 9th at the end of the year. Later, Twistzz decided to join Kerrigan in FaZe, where he once again proved he was one of the strongest players in the region. Under the Danes' leadership, Russell became a major champion and the first player to win 2 Intel Grand Slams. Twistzz is now 26 years old. He's still consistent at Tier 1, stays in great shape, and continues to make incredible highlights, like this one.
The header Brokey, too much for Twistzz to handle.
Or is it?
Oh, maybe it's not! Maybe there's magic in the FaZe jersey once more! Just needs Makaze! Missed shot, whistles past as the rookie versus the veteran. Oh! He's done it again!
He's at home in that FaZe jersey! He knows he never should have left!
That is unbelievable magic!
Senzu, like Mzinho, is also part of Mongolian CS. He plays the most active positions where high skill is crucial and handles that demanding role very well. From the very start of his career, Asbayar proved himself as an outstanding shooter. In his first full year, he hit 63% headshots, which is an excellent result. Senzu quickly joined the Mongols, and with the move to CS2, they gradually reached Tier 1. Asbayar played a huge role in that. He often carried the team on his own, putting up amazing numbers against the strongest opponents. For example, at IEM Rio, Senzu single-handedly crushed Xantares' team, finishing 2 maps with a rating of over 2.0. The real breakthrough for the Mongolian star came in 2025. His team won 2 tournaments, and he reached 13th place in the HLTV rankings, cementing his status as a Tier 1 player. Senzu is still very young, and now he's taken on a new challenge. This month, Asbayar joined the international team Passion UA on loan, surprising the entire community. In a remarkable 3rd place is Valera Bit. For Navi fans, his name has long been a synonym for headshot. Let's remember how Valera earned that reputation. Bit started his journey in Navi Junior, where he spent 2019. Valera was the best player on the team, and even back then, 66% of his kills were headshots. Naturally, when Navi needed support for Flamey, they first looked at Bit. Soon Valera became a full member of the main roster, where he continued posting incredible stats. He finished 2020 with a 71% headshot rate, a number that's honestly hard to believe. Bit quickly became a core part of Navi, and by the summer of 2021, their dominance was clear. The team crushed everyone in their path to trophies, and Valera played a big role in that. For example, at IEM Cologne, which Navi won, Bit was among the top 5 statistically, and came very close to a 70% headshot rate. In November, Bit did something only 2 players before him him, Taco and Fur, had achieved. He won a CSGO major on his very first attempt. And there, Valera didn't look like a rookie from the academy, he played like an experienced veteran. Bit finished the major with a crazy number, almost 73% headshots. Back then, everyone was praising him. Legends of the scene called him the discovery of the year, and analysts believe Valera had a bright future at Tier 1. By the end of the season, a 67% headshot rate no longer surprised anyone, and Valera's place in the HLTV Top 10 was completely expected. The next 2 years were relatively quiet for Bit. Not as Vincere were switching to an English-speaking roster, and Valera had to adapt to a new environment and CS2. But these changes didn't affect him much. By 2024, Bit was already seen as an experienced player who could step up in the most important moments. Valera reached 6 big finals in a row, earned his first MVP medal, and lifted his second major trophy. Today, Bit is considered the face of Navi. He remains very consistent and doesn't drop below a 60% headshot rate. Adil Scream is a player who needs no introduction. At one point, the Belgian was so popular that his legacy still lives on today. Thousands of young CS players used his nickname on public servers. And when Valera Bit first played at Tier 1, he was even called the Second Scream. In Counter-Strike, there simply hasn't been, and probably never will be, a player more associated with headshots than Adil. He started developing his signature style back in Counter-Strike Source, and with the release of Global Offensive, he pushed it to perfection. 2013 became the first of 2 peaks in Scream's career. That year, he received an invite to the best team in France, Very Games, won several big tournaments, and finished the year with an incredible 73.5% headshot rate. Adil's impact on Counter-Strike was so significant that the developers even changed aspects of shooting and some movement mechanics to nerf him. And it worked. Within just a year, his KD dropped by 17 points. A few months later, Scream was kicked from the team, despite still having strong stats and huge media influence. The reason given was that Adil lacked an understanding of the game. The next peak didn't come for another 2 years. In 2016, Scream joined G2, where he was given full freedom, and that paid off. He led the team to first place at a major ECS tournament and finished the year in the HLTV Top 10. But a year later, he was kicked from G2 without any explanation. After that, Adil decided to quit CS and try out Valorant instead. In his farewell interview, he said that he could have made the HLTV Top 20 every year if teams had used him the right way and given him the same freedom that G2 did. At the start of this year, Scream said that he wants to return to CS and try to reach the top again. Adil is now 31, and he's long since written his name into esports history. Scream is a living Counter-Strike legend, and his phenomenal style will always be remembered by fans. First place in our ranking doesn't go to Bit, not to Xantares, and not even to the legendary Scream. The top spot belongs to none other than Daniil Kryzhkovets. Yes, Donk might not be the first player you associate with headshots, but the numbers speak for themselves. By headshots per round, Daniil is ahead of the legendary Scream by a full 6 points. Donk's aim was incredible long before he joined the main roster of Spirit. At just 15 years old, his headshot percentage was already higher than Nico's and other top pros. Daniil spent almost all of his free time playing Counter-Strike, and the high ping in his hometown forced him to adapt. That's how he developed his unique style, with wide peaks and almost perfect crosshair placement. And Daniil doesn't rely only on one-taps. His high headshot percentage also comes from his spray control. Even when the first bullet doesn't hit the head, the second or third one does. By the middle of his first year at Tier 1, Donk was already considered one of the best aimers on the scene, if not the very best. Daniil was constantly at the top of leaderboards and kept putting up insane numbers, finishing 2024 with a 60% headshot rate. In 2025, Daniil won 4 tournaments, including IEM Cologne. At every event that year, his stats were almost untouchable, and in the end, he missed out on the title of best player in the world only because of team results. Donk's incredible aim helped him take the #1 spot in today's ranking, and Daniil is so good that being first on this headshot list is just one of many statistical records he holds. What do you think? Will anyone be able to dethrone Donk in headshots? Or match Scream's influence on the AIM scene? Let's talk about it in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the best esports content. See you next time.